Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to
the flag
the
United States of America,
to the republic for which
the
it stands,
republic which it stands,
nation
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The call to order the July 13th, 2020 meeting of Plymouth Township Council. And we're going to begin tonight with a swearing in of a new police officer, Andrew Murdock. And I guess we'll turn that one over to the chief.
Thank you, Mr. Monero. With our certified list of eligible hires approaching the end of its one-year term, and one of our police officers approaching retirement in the next 3 months, I'm asking council to appoint the next eligible probationary police officer on the eligibility list. To explain briefly how the process works, first, we put together a written test that we give. This year, we had over 600 applicants take our written test. That list is good for 1 year. From that list of people, the top 30 candidates were selected to go on to an oral examination. They have to pass at a minimum, and then the 30 highest scores move on. At that point, we give a physical agility test to make sure that the candidates can perform the job functions. And of those people that pass that segment, they go on to an oral examination where they are asked different types of questions from a committee that we have internally of supervisors and commanding officers. Of the people that pass that portion of the examination, we give a extensive background investigation, which includes a polygraph examination. To pass that segment, you are then given a physical and a psychological exam, a comprehensive psychological exam. Once you've passed all those points and everyone is rated, the top selected people, depending on how many vacancies that the police department has, get selected on a ranked basis. The only exception is veterans who get taken the top 3. Anyone that's in the top 3 moves up to the front, and that's under federal guidelines. So it's a very intensive, comprehensive examination, and we're coming to the end of the list, which will expire by November. So with that said, I would like to introduce the candidate, Andrew Murdock. And he was born and raised in Plymouth Township and graduated from the Plymouth White Marsh High School in 2006. After graduating, Mr. Murdock enlisted in the United States Navy and served as a corpsman from 2010 to 2015. He also served a combat tour in Afghanistan during his service in the Navy. Since 2016, he's been employed as a police officer with the Philadelphia Police Department. Mr. Murdock is here today with his wife, Nicole, and his 2 children, Finn and Avery. I ask council to consider Andrew Murdock for appointment to the Township Police Department.
Thank you, Chief. Is there a motion from council to approve Andrew Murdock as the next hire for the Plymouth Township Police Department?
So moved.
A motion from Ms. Bramlett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Higgins. Any comments or questions from council? I would just like to say congratulations, and I think welcome home, I guess, in a way, and glad to see that one of our own local high school products and obviously local residents has decided to come back and dedicate his career to the township. So I think that's outstanding. Any comments or questions from the public? Okay. Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Congratulations, Mr. Murdock. And we'll, I guess, hand this over back to the chief or Judge Bernhardt.
Yes,
I
thank you.
I think that's him behind the mask over there.
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi, Frank.
That's chief, the camera and everything.
Yeah, they can see.
See? Sorry. I'll come over a little bit. Could you please raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Andrew C. Murdock,
I, Andrew C. Murdock,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
I will enforce the laws of this Commonwealth
I will enforce the laws of this Commonwealth
of Pennsylvania
of Pennsylvania
and the laws of Plymouth Township,
and the laws of Plymouth Township,
Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
And I will discharge the duties of police officer
I will discharge the duties of police officer
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
And I do further swear
And I do further swear
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
or
or
disability.
disability. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Andrew. Congratulations on being the first ever remotely Zoom sworn-in police officer in the history of Plymouth Township.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Monero. May I be excused, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Moving on, is there any general public comment on the agenda? Well, just a general reminder for anybody who does have public comment now or at the end of the meeting that there's a hand raising feature that we'll use. So if you click participants at the bottom and you hover over the right-hand side, you'll see that raise hand feature on the bottom of the participants list. Okay. Is there, just first of all, sorry, a general announcement, there's an executive session held on July 7th, 2020. And we'll now approve the minutes from the workshop meeting of June 1st, 2020, and the regular meeting of June 8th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve those minutes from the workshop and the regular meeting?
So moved.
Motion for Mr. Gannon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bandish. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
Favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Moving down to approval of departmental reports and bills. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion for Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Down to police and public safety. Tonight we have the approval of a towing contract ordinance amendment. This is a first and final consideration, and I'll hand that one to Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Monero. We have made some recent changes to the ordinance regarding towing contracts or towing ordinances within the township. I'll only point out a couple of the changes and won't read the entire ordinance because much of the entire ordinance is still in effect. We've just made some additions. The original section, purpose and objective, talked about the entering into a contract with a tower to removal of damaged, disabled, or snowbound vehicles. We have added the language, or for towing required by necessary, lawful, and appropriate law enforcement actions within the township. That has been added into several sections just to clarify what the purpose of the towing contract will be. We have gotten rid of some very antiquated language in section J that dealt with a outmoded method of communication, like Nextels and things along those lines. And we have just inserted that the contractor who is successful has to maintain 24-hour communication with the Township Police Department. We have added sections regarding the certifications that the successful contractor must have and some of the equipment that they must have. So whoever wins this bid will be able to tow all manner of vehicles that may be required because of an emergency or because of for the reasons of the police need that towed. We have added a section indicating that the contractor, its officers and shareholders must remain current on all taxes due to Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the United States of America. And this will include income taxes, payroll taxes, real estate taxes. We have also added language to allow that this is contract is a non-exclusive, and we may or may not use other towers. We have added a section because this successful bidder will be, in essence, representing Plymouth Township and will be dealing with the residents and visitors of Plymouth Township. We have listed under the qualification section that the contractor will also be in good standing and in good reputation in the community. Good standing shall include, but not limited to, the contractor shall not have negative police contacts in matters of a serious nature, no active warrants of arrest, and no involvement in business practices that would reflect poorly on either the contractor or Plymouth Township. And those are the significant changes to this contract. This is for first and final consideration this evening. So this would be ordained and enacted by the Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, this 13th day of July, 2020, Council of Plymouth Township, by Christopher G. Monero, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Is there a motion to approve the towing contract ordinance amendment?
So moved.
Motion for Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bandish. Any comments or questions from council? And comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Chief, anything else under police and public safety?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Engineering, Mr. Manai, anything tonight?
We have nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you. Going down to subdivision and land development plans that are currently under review. Land development 20-3, the proving grounds, fields 6 through 8, Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This communication tonight is from Paul Tornetta in reference to the aforementioned land development at the proving grounds. And he's asking for an extension until August 31st, 2020. I make a motion that we approve this.
Motion for Mr. Gannon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. For conditionally approved projects not yet recorded, we have 2 extension requests. First one is for Exeter 527 Plymouth Road. Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A letter from Exeter 527 Plymouth requesting an extension to August 11th, 2021. I make a motion to approve the extension.
Motion from Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Gannon. Comments or questions from council? And comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Second one is the Alba family / Tamaro. Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This communication is from Sean Tamaro in reference to the Tamaro plot on Fairfield Road. and he is asking for a land development extension until 11/7/2020. I make a motion we approve this.
Motion from Mr. Gannon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Higgins,
Favor.
Ms. Bandish,
In favor?
Mr. Gannon,
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett,
In favor?
and the chair votes in favor. Down to projects currently under construction and escrow release for the Shake Shack at the Plymouth Meeting Mall. Mr. Higgins.
Thank you. A letter from Lonnie Manai, Woodrow and Associate. At this time, based on field observations of work completed to date, we find that sufficient work has been completed to release the amount of $266,968.23. By releasing this amount, the total account balance for the project will be reduced to $71,302. I make a motion to approve this escrow release.
Okay, motion from Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bandish. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll. Oh, Ms. Weiss. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I did hit the button, but anyway, I would like permission from council to hold your letter to the bank. Actually, releasing this money until their accounts receivable are brought up to date. They're either going to be sending us a check or a wire transfer. We discussed last week. We just haven't received it yet as of today. So if you could make this approval contingent on the township receiving the accounts receivable monies, that would be preferred.
Okay. So should I redo that motion or can we, Mr. Clark, do I need to redo that motion?
No, I think you can just amend it in the what Karen is requesting, that she's given permission to hold it until the applicant becomes current on their other obligations.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish,
In favor?
Ms. Bramblett,
In favor?
Mr. Gannon,
In favor.
Mr. Higgins,
Favor.
and the chair votes in favor. Down to code enforcement, we have a building permit fee waiver for Plymouth Fire Company. Ms. Bramblett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a communication from Mr. Wallace, Director of Code Enforcement, to Karen Weiss, Township Manager. The Plymouth Fire Company is installing a climate system in the firehouse to remove harmful gases from diesel exhaust. The cost of the project is $99,750 with a fee cost of $2,058.84. Keystone has waived their fee of $1,711.95. Mr. Wallace is asking the township to waive the township fee of $342.39. I make a motion that we waive the building permit fee for Plymouth Fire Company.
Okay, motion from Ms. Bramblett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bandish. Any comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett,
In favor?
Mr. Gannon,
In favor.
Ms. Bandish,
In favor.
Mr. Higgins,
In favor.
and the chair votes in favor. Moving to zoning hearings, Ms. Bandish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a notice of public hearing that the Zoning Hearing Board of Plymouth Township hearing on July 20th, 2020 will be held at 7 p.m. virtually via Zoom, and login details will be available on our website, www.plymouthtownship.org, and on the township's Facebook account prior to the hearing. The following applications will be heard. Brenda and Kevin Murphy on an application for a variance from Plymouth Township Zoning Ordinance number 342 as amended, Article 5, Sections 502F and 502G. The variances are as follows that are requested: to allow 30.3% impervious coverage where a maximum of 25% is allowed, and to allow 69.7% green space where a minimum of 75% is required. This property in question is located at 11 Malvern Road. It's in an A residential zoning district. Anyone with a disability who wishes to participate in the hearing, who requires any type of auxiliary aid, service, or other type of accommodation, can contact the township in advance. Do I need to make a motion to?
No.
I was going to say, it's just
That's
like
it.
kind of declaring it, right?
Your work is done. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. Going down to Parks and Recreation, Service and Devotion Monument, Bricks and Pavers announcement, Mr. Higgins.
Bricks and pavers. Service and Devotion Monument. Individuals are able to purchase bricks and pavers to honor a loved one who has served. 3 sizes are available, 4x8, 12x12, and 24x24, starting at $75. The pavers have the option for a logo at an additional charge. Available logos are Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Plymouth Township Police, Plymouth Community Ambulance Association, Plymouth Fire Company, and Harmonville Fire Company. We are still seeking monetary donations from businesses who are interested in becoming a supporter. In return for a donation, a laser-etched granite plaque will be displayed prominently on the 3-tiered donor wall. The purchase of bricks and pavers is ongoing, and orders will be placed several times a year. For more information and order forms, visit www.plymouthcommunitycenter.org or call the Greater Plymouth Community Center.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. And moving on to the Parks and Recreation Ordinance, first consideration, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Monero, and I will start with a brief apology. I tried to email myself the red line version of this, and it came over as a non-red line version. So I just have a general outline of what some of the changes are. We'll make sure that when we do this for final consideration, we will have the outline, what the very specific changes are. Again, we're not going to go through the whole ordinance because we've only made certain changes, amending the chapter 15. We have amended section 15.2 regarding opening and closing hours, and the township parks are open throughout the year between 7 a.m. and dusk, and only authorized persons may be in the park between dusk and 7 a.m. We have updated the section 15-16 regarding motorized scooters or fuel-propelled devices that are not permitted within the township parks. And that, in addition to that, that also includes airplanes, model rockets, aircrafts, drones, and things of that nature, which are prohibited. We have updated the section on domesticated animals regarding animals who are on leashes, and we've made some changes to this section. And we have also added in section 15-9 restricted activities. We have added a section regarding fireworks, that no person shall sell or use consumer fireworks or display fireworks within the limits of any township park, park area, or park land, including the community center. As you're aware, the rules regarding fireworks in Pennsylvania have been relaxed over the last several years, and it has caused some issues. The chief gave a report on it last week, and so it became necessary to add that specific prohibition to the ordinance.
Just to clarify on that one, that is without a permit, correct? Like if a permit were to be issued for somebody to do an event, they could do that.
No. We could if we were having an event or something
Correct.
along those lines.
Got it.
But we would not be issuing permits for someone to be setting off consumer fireworks in the township parks.
Got it. Good. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Is there a motion to approve? Oh, no, that's just a first
That's
consideration.
it, first consideration.
Are there any questions from council on ordinance? Any
Just
comments or
remember, I don't
questions?
have my red line version.
Any comments or questions from the public? Okay, thank you. Moving down to Citizens Board vacancy announcement. Mr. Higgins.
All residents wishing to serve on citizens boards are asked to submit their resume or letter stating their interest to the township manager, 700 Belvoir Road, Plymouth Meeting, PA 19462, or via email kweiss@plymouthtownship.org. The following citizens board positions are open. Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board, 2 positions.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. And next item is for the appointment of a new member to the Historical Architectural Review Board. And that one I'm going to give to Ms. Bandish.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very pleased to say that we had an applicant, and Jamina Clay, who is well known to many people on the council. She had run for a school board position. She's a resident of Plymouth Meeting, residing on Oxford Road, and she's interested in this open position. She's been a resident for over 10 years, and she feels she will be an asset. She's an educator. She currently works for the School District of Philadelphia. Her background as an educator leads her to be an ideal fit for this position, and she has very strong communication skills. She's done extensive work in community relations. She's committed to the community, and she wants the opportunity to serve. And I think that she's going to be an incredible addition to the board for HARP.
So would you like to make a motion to appoint Ms. Clay?
I would like to make a motion to appoint Jamina Clay to the open position for the Historical Architectural Review Board.
Okay, motion from Ms. Bandish. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Any comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. All right. Are there any general questions or comments from the audience at this time? Okay. Any additional comments or questions from council? All right. Seeing none, we will adjourn our July 13th, 2020 meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Stay well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.